Hi, everyone. I'm David Kelly, Program Director for the eLearning Guild, and it's my pleasure to welcome you to another Twist Conversation. Today, I'm pleased to be welcoming Glenn Bull from Scalytics, and we're going to be talking about analytics and how it's going to disrupt the training industry. Welcome, Glenn.
Thank you. Nice to be here.
Nice to have you. Before we get started, can you take a moment and introduce yourself to our viewers?
Yeah, so obviously I'm Glenn from Scalytics. I'm the CEO of the organisation and have been involved in the industry for probably coming up to 20 years.
Excellent. I know you're passionate about analytics, and when I was looking at the session description that you have coming up for DevLearn, I like the fact that you describe it as something that's going to be a disruption for our industry. And can you tell me a little bit about why you use that phrase? How do you feel that this change for analytics is going to be disruptive to our industry?
Yeah, I think it's going to be a disruption due to the nature of what it's going to affect. The way that we've been developing our training for years has been very focused on tracking standards that are based around completions. But really what we care about in this industry is, does someone understand the content? Do they have the ability to execute on that information? You know, what is the impact to the business's bottom line? And how can we move training to that type of a structure? The reason it will be such a disruption is to fix this problem and move beyond tracking completions. We actually have to take a look at the industry as a whole, the way that we track the information, the way that we build the training, the skill sets and the teams involved in creating the content. It affects all parts of the industry, all sectors.
And I know when I hear the word disruption, I know a lot of people, when they hear the word disruption, it sometimes has a negative connotation, that you're disrupting things and that's a bad thing. And that's not necessarily true. I think that the change that's coming with analytics is going to be a great thing for our industry. But basically, when you look at that single word disruption, it just means that things are going to, that you're shaking up the status quo. That has advantages and disadvantages anytime you do that. So can you tell me a little bit about where you see the advantages of this disruption and also maybe some disadvantages?
Yeah, so one of the big advantages will be in the quality of the training content that is being produced. The simple reality is that the rapid development tools that we've been using for the last 10 or so years have brought the industry to a point where anyone can be a trainer. And I think we've moved a long way away from the idea that the people that are building content have an innate or a skill to really design and position content in a way that will demonstrate learning. And the quality of a lot of the content that's out there today really demonstrates that. We're seeing a lot of slide-based materials with content just pushed onto the screen, very simplistic assessments. And the reality is that happens when you're only focusing on tracking very basic types of information. We really are not making ourselves accountable to look at what the impact across an entire business is going to be for that training. So we have to shift that sort of disruption. I think is long overdue. We need to really look at the quality of our training and increase it. The disruption, there is always, as you rightly pointed out, a negative aspect to disruption, depending on your perspective. If you're in a team and you're building content and you are simply putting it up on, putting pages on screen and using e-learning for the fact that it's a scalable way to deliver content rather than using the technology to actually enhance the learning process, the reality is that world is going to change a bit, and disruption can be a wee bit uncomfortable, but if you can step back and look at the bigger picture, it makes a lot more sense for the long term.
Excellent. And I think that there's this idea of data analytics and big data and all this stuff. It's going on around us, and it's not something. A lot of people go, oh well, I don't necessarily have to play in that field. It doesn't really affect my work. But it's coming into organizations. It's coming into the business. And if it's going to be coming into the business, it's going to affect what we need to do within our department. So if you kind of go into looking into your crystal ball a bit, how do you see the work that we do? I know you talk about design and we have to do better training, but how does the business of learning for a learning professional change when you insert big data into the picture?
Well, I think it will bring the entire training divisions in an organisation around to a business focus. That's not to say that there isn't a business focus at the moment, but again, it comes back to this accountability. If you're not accountable for business results, it's very hard to drive profit out of the training division. When we step back from things and look at why it is that training exists in a corporate environment, the reality is it's to increase profit to the organization, and that's not the way that training is generally delivered, and it's not the focus of so many training projects at the moment. They're very focused on simply delivering on a project-by-project basis. We've got a problem here, we need to fix it. I have a strong belief that training is the second key profit center to organizations. You've got sales division as one, training should be driving that other. Every time we do training, it's to solve a problem which is going to increase profit somewhere in the company, whether it's training people on product knowledge so that you can sell more products, whether it's training them on customer service to build brand and client loyalty, whether it's internal issues, leadership and management, health and safety, whether it's reducing compliance costs, legal issues, boosting morale or staff retention. They're all issues that affect the company's bottom line. So if we can move the entire focus to that, it's going to create a big, I suppose, a big advantage to the whole organization, not just within training.
One of the things that you said that really resonated with me was this idea of accountability within training. I think to a certain extent, training has historically gotten a free pass in terms of the accountability just based on the type of data that we have available to us. But as you've been talking about, that's going to change, and we're going to be able to get better data and tell better stories through the type of information that we have. So the accountability is going to increase in turn. So people need to prepare for this. And I know that that's what you're going to be discussing in your session at DevLearn, what's going on with this idea of big data and what people can be doing to prepare themselves for it. If I'm going to be at the session at DevLearn in October, can you give me an idea of what I'm going to learn from sitting in there?
Yeah, absolutely. We're going to be focusing a lot on what is true big data in training. There's a lot of confusion in the industry at the moment. Is Tin Can or the Experience API big data? Are we going to get better reports by changing our LMSs? Do we wrap a survey form around existing content? And the reality is that true big data is really none of those things. It's about deep insights, and it means that the way that we have to build our content is going to change. That means we have to look at the way that we are developing, the teams that we have, the planning that goes into content, and the way that we analyze training. I think it will affect a number of different things, and if you're leading a training division, you need to have a relatively good understanding of what these changes are going to occur, what sort of things you should be looking for. There's certainly a big opportunity there to put a foot in the wrong direction, given the types of changes that will happen. So hopefully, people will leave with a far better understanding of what the real issues are, and how to ensure that you can put a strategy in place, both from a human resources perspective and also as far as technology and what is actually achievable with measurement and learning and what you can do for the organization.
That's excellent, and one of the things that I think it's an important topic and something that people need to be understanding of and understand what they need to do about it to get themselves ready, because this change, whether they insert it themselves or wait around, it's coming, and it's going to change. It's going to disrupt, as you said earlier, what we do on a day-to-day basis.
That's actually one of the keys. This is a change that is inevitable. And whether it comes from within the training division or whether it's pushed down onto the training division by the business management, it's going to come, no matter how you look at it.
Well, that's excellent. Well, I can't think of a better call to action to encourage people to come to your session and learn more about this topic at DevLearn. If you want to learn more about the session that Glenn's going to be doing at DevLearn or about any of the sessions that are going to be taking place at the conference this year, I encourage you to go to our website, devlearn14.com. The DevLearn 14 Conference and Expo takes place October 29th through 31st at the Bellagio Hotel in Las Vegas. We're highlighting Neil deGrasse Tyson as our keynote speaker. We've got over 100 different sessions from experts around the industry, including Glenn's session. So if you want to learn more, please do visit our website, devlearn14.com. Glenn, I want to thank you so much for spending some time talking about big data with me today.
You're welcome.
And I want to thank
to DevLearn.
As am I. And we hope to see you at DevLearn this October or next time online in another Twist conversation. Take care, everybody. Have a great day.
Thank you.